The first powered flight took place on December 17th, 1903. The plane was called the Wright Flyer and was made by the Wright brothers. It was flown in the sand dunes near Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. The Wright brothers, surprisingly, were both bicycle mechanics. The plane was made of canvas and wood. It flew for just over 120 feet and took about 12 seconds to have that flight. After their success flying, they took their machine to multiple governments and militaries around the world. The majority of them thought that their machine was unnecessary and useless. They thought, aviation is a good sport, but for the Army, it's useless. The world was betting on zeppelins in 1910. When Orville and Wilbur were making their way across Europe trying to sell their planes, zeppelins were already making daily flights across Europe. They were fleets of zeppelins. They were the cruise liners of the sky. They were becoming a proven technology, not a dangerous new flying machine. This is one big reason why European countries did not have any interest in planes. Surprisingly, the first aerial vehicles were not planes. They used hot air balloons for reconnaissance and spotting artillery targets. Much like this, the first planes in war were used for the same thing. The advantage with planes is that they had much larger ranges of motion and were much more in depth when getting their information. The first role of an aircraft would be a recon plane. They were faster, they were lighter, and lacked less armament than the majority of other planes, like bombers. The second role is the fighter. The fighter came in many shapes and forms, from biplane, which is 2 wings, triplane, 3 wings, and monoplane, which is 1 wing. Fighters usually had front-mounted machine guns and were faced with the problem of shooting off their propeller. This was addressed by a counting system with gears which delayed bullets. The next is the bomber. The bomber came later in the war. At first, fighters just took grenades, or larger grenades, and threw them. It was very ineffective. But with the bomber, it could carry higher payloads and be much more accurate. Some well-known fighters of World War I are as follows. The French Nieuport, which was incorporated in 1916, had strong handling and had a top speed of 110 miles per hour. It was also used by the most countries in World War I. The next, and maybe most iconic, is the Fokker. The Fokker had 3 wings, was known for being used by the Red Baron, used very defensively by Germany, and was incorporated in 1917 late in the war effort. The next is the Sopwith Camel. The Sopwith is a British design, had a single seat, and was incorporated in 1917 at a top speed of 115 miles per hour.
His mission is to find the Red Baron and shoot him down. Here's the World War I flying ace climbing into the cockpit of his Sopwith Camel. Contact, he shouts.
Though not vital, the recon and spotting proved to be useful. At the same time, planes proved themselves worth of fighting machines. Stories came home of white nights in the sky. This spurred imagination and interest in aeronautics. This later led to better and better aircraft. A rigid cylindrical airship filled with a lighter-than-air gas to give lift, such as hydrogen. Zeppelins carried incendiary devices and large bombs. They had a massive range and flew at very high altitudes, higher than any plane could go at the time. But eventually, planes would be able to get to that altitude. Though not massively influential, Zeppelin showed the range German engineering and flight had. In 100 years, we have gone from wooden canvas flying contraptions, which were lucky to go 100 yards, to now being able to fly across oceans with ease. And as we look to the future, we will be seeing man being phased out as a pilot and computer taking over. The evolution of the aircraft was spurred by wartime. Today, the majority of military operations involve military planes, and especially drones in the past couple years. Canvas and wood to now high-tech materials, planes have drastically changed the face of warfare.
Вагнер. Полет Валькирий из оперы «Валькирия».